And welcome back to How It's Done TV. Today we have a special treat for you, no pun intended. We are here today at Durbin Magic Freeze with Dan Durbin, and he is going to be giving us a little bit of history on this amazing place. How are you doing?
Good, Don. How are you today?
Great. So could you tell me, how did this all begin?
Well, my parents have owned this corner since 1944. And my father, there used to be a house right beside the Magic Freeze here where we all lived as kids. And he ran a tire shop out of the lower floor, and then we all were up on the upper floor. We lived up there. And he changed semi-truck tires for about 8 years. And in 1953, for some reason, he decided he would try the ice cream business. But he ran the tire shop at the same time because he didn't know about the ice cream, whether it would go or not. And his initial thoughts were, I just want to have my kids have employment. So at first he wasn't even concerned about making money, but that we would all be employed. After 6 months, he knew he would never change a truck tire again. He was done with it. And because he would have contracts with some of the major companies in the country, they would call him out at 2 in the morning. Hey, we're out on Route 48 with a flat tire. He'd have to change the tire. So selling ice cream seemed to be a lot different and a lot easier for him. So that's how he did it.
So are you one of the oldest businesses still in Barberton?
I can't think of any that are older. There may be a couple. There's a couple that are close, like in 54, 55, around in there, I believe. I don't know of any that's any older.
And then what type of ice cream and treats did you offer back then?
My father believed, keep it simple. He literally had vanilla and chocolate, root beer, that was the only drink he had at the time, no hard ice creams, no sherbets, so it was just vanilla and chocolate, and he had hot fudge and those types of things, toppings. So he made cones, sundaes, shakes, floats, malts, and upside down banana splits, and that's it.
Now, when did you take over?
My father, well, first of all, the way I came into this business, I was at home counting my cards. I was a young guy counting my cards, and my father came in my room and said, okay, let's go. And I said, where are we going? He said, you're going to work, you're old enough. I was 9 and a half, true story. And I've been working ever since. So anyway, then I went off to college and played a little college football and that. And I came home, and then I got into partnership with him in 1971.
Okay.
And I've been there ever since.
Now, you are going to have a big anniversary next year.
Yeah. Yeah, my parents opened it, and like I said, in 1953, it was May 4th, 1953, and so next year is going to be 70 years. It's
70 years, that is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Same location. It really hasn't changed a lot. We added some extra parking and so forth over the years, and we've added this office onto it and a really nice cake shop over there, a garage and so forth. But it's been a family owned just by us, and that's the way we like it.
Now, you also have your son.
My son is involved in it. He got involved in it back in the early 2000s. He basically handles everything. He handles the headaches. He handles the repairs, the big headaches, the employees. God, I love them all, but if anybody that has a lot of employees knows that it's a challenge. So he handles everything. but I still love working. So I'm here every day. I can't imagine not being here.
So since you have been here so long, and you've been at the exact same location
Yep.
that your father established, can you talk a little bit about, you know, how Barberton went through the industrial times, all
Yep.
the changes that you guys have literally seen?
Yeah, when in the 60s, well, before that too, this was a very blue-collar community that was very employed. We had PPG, which at the time hired 4,000 people. We had Rockwell and Cyberlink and B&W all hiring hundreds, if not thousands of people. So this was a really working hard community. And then we began to lose them, and they closed up. We don't have near the amount of workers that we had, but we're coming back slowly. We don't have a lot of the huge places like that hired hundreds and hundreds, but we have a lot of smaller factories that are moving in with clean environmental issues, I guess I would say, but they're hiring maybe 40 people or 60 or 80 or 100 or something like that. So we're coming back slowly, but it's been hard.
Now, I noticed that with the growth in Barberton Citizens Hospital,
Right.
Also with them redoing the high school and the
Mhm.
schools, which is amazing. You've seen more developments in
Yep.
Barberton. When you went through the COVID,
Uh-huh.
how was that for you particularly as a business owner?
Well, we were one of the luckier ones. We all got hurt. Everybody did. We all know that. But because we're not a sit-down place and we're a walk-up outside place only, we could remain open. And in fact, the places that had drive-throughs, they did fantastic, but because they didn't have to close. But we were fortunate, and it's come back. It's all back. In fact, this May was the best month we've ever had here. June was right there too. So it's coming back, and it's really, we have such a loyal clientele. The people from Wadsworth, Barberton, Norton, Coventry, Akron, it doesn't matter. They all come here, you know, and we're really lucky that way.
Now, did you learn anything to do anything different or new since COVID? A lot of other businesses had to do apps and just
Yeah.
all kinds of different things. Did you guys learn anything?
Well, we're about to do something that I swore I would never want to do. I have been a cash person. We were cash only for all these years, and within a week or two, we're going to take cards. Never wanted to do it, but credit cards are coming, everybody. Whether I like it or not, they're here. And so I would imagine they'll be in soon. My employees will have no problems at all because they're used to being on that. He will have no problems at all. I'm the only one that's going to have a problem. So I may be calling my employees for help. But yeah, it's coming. It's just one of those things where so many people are not carrying cash now. So we have to do it.
Now, you also do Christmas trees.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about when that started?
Yeah, I won't go into exactly why it started, but I began selling trees in 1976. We needed a little extra income because I had a young family of 5 at the time, and we just needed some extra income. So I wasn't employed in that time, and I used to do whatever I could to earn extra after we closed, or extra money. And I just figured, well, try trees. And I ordered 300 trees the first year, and gradually through the 80s and 90s, I began to sell upwards of 1,400 trees on the lot. It was quite frankly killing me, so I cut it back and back and back and back. So that's what I did.
And it's become pretty much a staple for Barberton and,
Yeah.
and for those around Barberton to know that you do trees, because it seems like you are only closed down for a small amount of time during the
Couple weeks.
entire year.
Yeah. And back in 91 or 92, I can't remember the exact year, so many people would ask me, why don't you have the ice cream with the trees? And I'm thinking, how am I going to do that? You got to keep the place clean. You can't be having trees in here. But we figured it out. So now we have ice cream and trees. It may be the only place in the country where you can come and get ice cream and a Christmas tree at the same time. It's got to be pretty unusual.
Now, you mentioned this year, especially about supply and demand when it comes to your supplies that you're getting, and now to Christmas trees of all things.
Right, right. The supply is coming back. I mean, there's not a week where we order, where he orders that they're not out of something. And that's why we're ordering as much as we can when it's available. But it hasn't been as bad as what you're reading about for us. Now, Christmas trees, we have enough of the one kind ordered, but we're having a time getting the ones that we need, the other brand, I guess I'd call it. But we'll get there. We'll find them somewhere. If I have to go down and cut them myself, I will, but we're going to get them.
Now, one of the amazing things that you do here is you actually make your own ice cream cakes.
Right, right.
When did that begin?
In 2005, after I purchased the property beside me here, I like to say I'm the only person that paid $70,000 for a house and tore it down in 4 weeks and turned it into a $5,000 piece of property. That's good planning. But that's what I had to do because we needed that parking. Once we got that parking and I added on to the garage, which I could because now we had room for parking, I decided I would have cakes, which I always wanted. I always felt that I could make a really good ice cream cake, far superior to anyone else, and I think we've done it. I think we have. Yeah.
Now, how many different sizes and types of cakes do you
We
make?
have a 6-inch, an 8, a 10 rounds, we call them, and then we have a 1/4 sheet, a 1/2 sheet, and a 3/4 sheet. So we have a 6-inch cake, which will feed around 3 to 5 people. Or if you're going to have a big party, we have that 3/4 sheet, which will feed around 44 people. So it's a good sized cake. If you haven't tried them, you're missing out. They're really good.
Now, so you guys make them yourself?
Yes, right
You don't
here.
have them mass produced.
No,
you
no.
actually make them with your own ice
Right,
cream.
right. Every day they've become so popular that we have a cake person come in every day. That's all she does. I get in here, like here today, I was in here at 4:45 in the morning and I spent a couple hours myself making cakes before I clean machines and everything else that needs to be done. So literally somebody is making cakes all day long. The only time we're not is when we're peaking out from, I would say, 8 to closing. But it's wonderful. I mean, people just seem to really love them. So we're very lucky.
And you're also unique with fudge.
Yeah, our hot fudge is our own formula. We buy a base fudge, but then we add our own formula to it, which we have been doing since 1953. And we've gone from being one of the larger hot fudge locations in the country, but we're #1 in Ohio now. In terms of hot fudge usage, we order more than anybody else in Ohio, by far. And so we're one of the top ones in the country. We sell hot fudge now all over the country. So it comes in, I don't have any jars here now, but people will order it. It'll go to Colorado, Florida, Hawaii. You'll like this. A lady came in a few years ago and ordered a case of it for the troops in Afghanistan.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it was all the way over there. She sent me some pictures, which I have somewhere, of the troops in the field actually eating them out of the jars with pretzels or potato chips or something. It was really cool.
So how does somebody go about finding that fudge?
Finding it?
Yeah, to come and buy it.
It's here, and we also have it out at Schaefer's Market in Portage Lakes.
Okay.
At the corner of South Main Street and 619. By the way, he's a great guy. He runs a great place, just like me. It's a family-owned place. We have a great connection, and I like it because he's family-owned, like me, one of a kind. We don't franchise. I have no interest in that whatsoever. And so I like to tell people, you might like my product, you might hate my product, but it's the only place in the world you're going to get it, right here.
Now, you talked about your parents, and your mother was able to see, you said the 50th.
Uh-huh.
The 50th.
Yeah.
And how long did your dad keep running?
My father passed away in August of '97, which is when I actually purchased the place from my mom. It just was too much for her. So I said, okay, I'll buy it from you. So that's what we did. But he ran it from 1953 until 1997. And getting him, because he was old school, and my mom and I in the 70s tried to say, Dad, we got to put flavors in. We got to put custard flavors in. People want them, and we don't have them. And he would say, he would always argue, you would be better off if you just had vanilla, chocolate, and root beer. I said, I know we would be better off, Dad, but we can't do that anymore. So he finally relented, but he was very firm about, if we're going to have flavors, we're going to use real fruit. Real blueberries in our blueberry, real strawberries, none of this, as he called it, crap artificial stuff. And that's what we did. So when we make blueberry, we're using real blueberries or strawberries or peaches, it doesn't matter. It's real fruit. The banana is by far our most popular, and we use pounds and pounds of bananas to make one can of the banana custard. In a run of banana, we'll go through 180 gallons in a pretty short time. It's that popular. As soon as we take it out, it's out a day, and people saying, you don't have banana? So because we have peach, we have blueberry, we have black cherry, we have strawberries, very popular. All those are popular, but we have any flavor you can think of. Before I forget, in July, we're going to do a Christmas in July where we'll have all of our Christmas flavors. And I think it's going to be the last week of July. And they're very popular. So look for that too.
So you're telling me that you actually don't use artificial fruits, you put the real stuff in there.
Right, the real stuff, for sure.
And so what about people who have allergies and stuff?
We do have some new products that my son put in last year or year before, I think it was. And they are lactose intolerant for people who are, what's that product called? No, I can't think of it actually. The Dole Whip. And that's become quite popular. That's been around for decades, but we just put it in a year. That was one of the products I wanted to add in the 80s. My dad says, we don't need Dole Whip. So we didn't add Dole Whip. And, but eventually it's become where you have to have it. And then we also have a couple of no sugar added hard ice creams. We have 4 different kinds of sherbets. We have 33 flavors of hard ice cream. So you got a choice here. You got a choice. Yogurt. which is made fresh every day. We alternate flavors and so forth. So you got a pretty good selection here.
Now, I know that from personal experience, you participate a lot in your community.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You do a lot of different fundraisers with your business. You give back a lot. What does the Barberton community mean to you and the surrounding communities mean to you?
Well, it's actually my home. I've told people, and I've lived here on and off, but I currently don't live here, but I have lived in this community long. But I tell people I sleep in Uniontown, but my home is here in Barberton. Quite honestly, I'm here more than I'm home, a lot more. And people know that. They know that I'm here a lot. So it's my home, and I've seen it through some tough times, but we're coming back. We are. And I think we have the best high school anywhere. You know, the grade schools, they're all new. We're getting our roads fixed. It's a process, but we're getting there. And we have a bunch of people that love this town, that really are, they really do love the town. And we're coming back, but we got hit hard like everybody else. But we'll do it. We'll get back.
Now, you've done Wounded Warrior Project. You've also done the Shoe Fund.
Shoe Fund. We're heavily involved with the YMCA. I sponsored the Kiwanis Fireman's Pancake event this year, where I had all my ice cream over there for the event, which was on me. You know, I furnished it. So these people get together in this town and do whatever they can to raise funds for this town. We're doing one. A friend of mine decided that there were a lot of kids in this community that don't have school supplies. So she took it upon herself to organize this fund for the school supplies, which we become heavily involved in. A friend of mine talked me into being a Kiwanis member. I didn't really think about it. He kept on me about it.
So did you actually join?
I did join. I'm a member of the Kiwanis.
I remember him talking to you about that.
You remember
Yes.
Bobby? Bobby 𝗪𝗡, by the way, is his name. He won't mind me using it. I call him my pit bull friend, because he won't let you alone until he's got you. And so I'm in the Kiwanis. Glad I'm in it, because it's a wonderful organization that raises awareness of your needs here in this community. And that's how I got involved with the Shoe Fund and with the supplies for the kids. It's there really is a lot of good people here. Yep.
Yeah, I know the Kiwanis, they
do a lot of good
do a
work.
lot.
It's a great organization.
I was going to ask you, I was like,
Yeah.
did you join finally?
I
Because
did.
they've been wanting you.
I did indeed, yeah.
Now, can you tell me an interesting story about your father when he owned?
Well, again, he was a hard-working guy. By the way, he loved golf. So whenever he wasn't working, he was on the golf course. But he, and actually he was good. He was like a 2 handicapper. He was right there. But yeah, I mean, he just was a hard-working guy, and we all worked as a kid. A funny story, my older brother Larry, we didn't have a schedule at the time for us kids. He would call us and say, I need you in at 6. And if just what we had to do. And we didn't argue with him. We said, okay, I'll be there. So my brother ran a 100-yard dash, and he won the race. And my dad met him at the end. He didn't say hey, congratulations. He said, come on, I need you going to work. He wasn't mean about it. It's the way it was. Family-owned business. And my own kids, I didn't start them at 9.5. They were 12 when I put them to work. But they would come home. They went to college at not Kent, actually, Bowling Green. And they all went up there, and they would come home on the weekends in the winter to sell trees. They would work weekends from 8 o'clock a.m. until we closed at 10 p.m. That's the way they were. I taught my kids what I learned. Hard work pays off. Get used to it. You're going to be working a while. And they're all doing great.
Now you plan on still keeping this in the family.
Yep. My oldest will, he will end up with it. Everything else will end up with the other kids. So, and everybody's okay with that because they're all doing great. They support themselves. They're all doing wonderful.
And you plan on having a lot of fun for the 70th anniversary.
I do. We've got a lot of fun things planned, and we're going to get more things planned. One of the things I want to do, if anybody out there knows about this, I want to get Christmas bulbs made with magic frieze on it, and the year 1953 to 2023. So if anybody can help me with that, I'd love to know about that.
Well, there's a lot of mom and pop shops out there that support your local.
I would love that. That would be awesome. So, and we by the way, we would order a lot of them. There'd be a lot of them. But yeah, so we're planning that. We got an event. I think there's going to be some Cleveland TVs out here. I know a couple of people that are in charge of some Cleveland TVs, but I'm not really into that so much. I just want to continue to make Magic Frieze, the best. Like I've told people, and I believe this sincerely, if you have the best prices, which I know we do, the best products, which I know we do, and the best employees, which I know we do, you're going to do fine. You're going to do fine. And it doesn't matter who opens up or what they have. I've seen dozens of ice cream places open and close in the years I've been doing this because one of those three things is missing. They either don't have the price, they don't have the quality, or the employees, or maybe they don't have all three. But whatever, you're not going to last if you don't. So.
What is your overall favorite thing about Durbin's?
As far as product or just
your job?
I love coming to work. I love coming in every day. Now by the end of the day, I'm ready to go home. But I love working. And so when I come in, the time goes like that because we are so busy. There's so much to do. Today I walked in and there was an incredible amount of work to do. And you just roll up your sleeves and you say, okay, let's do this. And I like it because it goes fast. There's so many things to make. I love it that we're such a popular place. And you can hear that by the background. That's how popular we are. The phone rings all the time. But and I like the customers. They're great, and they're so loyal, and they're so appreciative, and they come from all over. I get people. A guy came from South Carolina. He came in. He said, "Hey man, how you doing?" It's things like that. So they come from all over the place, and that's what I like. So I like the customers. I like the fact that we are so busy. It drives me crazy to do something where you weren't busy. I got to be busy.
Well, thank you so much
You're very
for spending
welcome.
time with me. I'd like to say to the public, come on out and try Durbin's if you never have. Support your small local businesses. Dan Durbin has proved through the family legacy that they absolutely love their town of Barberton. They love putting back into the community, and the community has supported them back. Just remember, when you support your small local business, you're able to keep a place open, keep employment going, and they can keep giving back to you. Until next time, thank you.
Bye.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.